starting today standing. So bringing those feet together, we're going to go heels out, toes come out to meet them, and then we're just going to go in a circle. So just exploring the corners of your balance, moving the weight from your heels to your toes, feeling that weight move around your foot, just seeing how big you can create your circle. Just a gentle movement around your ankle, and then we're going to take that in the other direction. You can close your eyes if you want to and just explore the corners of your balance with your eyes closed. It makes such a difference having your eyes closed. And then you're going to gently bring yourself to a standstill, where that weight is even between your heel and your toe. Coming up to those knees, making sure they stay soft, then coming up to your pelvis. Thinking about it a little bit like a bucket, we're tipping the water out the back and out of the front. So you're just isolating the movement through your pelvis, seeing how it wants to move today. And then gently bringing that back to a standstill, where that tailbone is pointing down to the floor. Restack those vertebrae, growing towards the ceiling. Thinking about your pelvic floor next. So internal sling of muscles holding everything in. We want to think about it a little bit like a lift, and we're going to draw up from the back to the front. So everything is coming up internally, nothing changes on the outside. So you shouldn't feel like you're gripping your glutes or your thighs, it's all internal. So we're going to ride that lift up to floor 10, so feel that internal squeeze. And then gently, with control, letting it off. And again, up to floor 10, holding it there. So it's as important that you learn to relax your pelvic floor as engage your pelvic floor. So when you relax, really gently let that pelvic floor down and just really feel you just completely letting go of it. And then we're going to reconnect and bring it back up again. And then again, slowly, with control, letting it off. And then we're going to do that again. So we're coming up to that 10th floor. Feel from the back to the front. So everything is drawing up. It shouldn't just be kind of a front feeling. And then slowly, with control, letting it off until we get to that second or third floor. And that's our 20 to 30% we want to hold for the rest of the session. Moving on to our TVA. So your transverse abdominis is a big belt-like muscle underneath those superficial abs which are on top. It's a stabilizing muscle. So we're going to imagine we're wearing a really wide belt. We're going to draw that belt up to the 10th notch. And then slowly, with control, you're going to let that belt out. Then again, you're going to take that belt up to that 10th notch. So you should feel your waist getting smaller, belly button moving towards your spine, and your ribs drawing down towards your hips. So we want to keep hold of this rib to hip connection. So the bottom of your rib cage should be sitting in line with the top of your hip and not jutting forward. Gently releasing that core off, and again up to that 10th notch. Waist gets smaller, belly button to spine, hold it there. This time, with control, slowly letting it back out until we get to that second or third notch, and that is our 20 to 30% we are going to hold for the rest of the session. Thinking about breathing next. So we want to breathe thoracically into the sides and the back of your rib cage. Think about your lungs a little bit like a water bottle. So you're going to tip all the water out as you exhale, and then as you inhale, you're going to bring the air back in. So you're going to start at the bottom of that lung and then bring the air up to the top. So we're filling up your whole lung and not kind of shallow breathing and just using the top half. As you exhale, your diaphragm moves back up into your rib cage and your pelvic floor can come up too. So you kind of work them as a pair. They're like the bottom and top of that TVA cylinder. So we're going to interlace our fingers over our rib cage. Take a nice wide and full breath in. So almost feel like the bottom of your lungs, also the bottom of your rib cage is expanding first before the top starts moving out. And then exhale. Feel those Ribs come back down, fingers slide back together. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more here. Inhale. And exhale. And final time. Inhale. And exhale. Super, well done. So thinking about breathing like that when we move into our exercises. Coming on to your neck and your shoulders. So we're going to bring our right ear to our right shoulder. Gentle semicircle round to the left. So your head doesn't go in a full circle because it's not that kind of joint. So it's just a gentle semicircle. As you move from ear to ear, just let your head take the path that feels comfortable. Don't try and force it to go anywhere it doesn't want to go. Just let it kind of take the journey it wants to. And then you're going to bring your head back to the middle. And then from here you're going to bring your right hand onto the right hand side of your head. You're going to try and look to the right, but your hand is going to stop your head from moving. So we're building strength in our neck, holding it there. Then placing your hand on your forehead, pushing your head forward into your hand. And then left hand to the left hand side. And then hand to the back. And then we're going to go around one more time. So right hand to right hand side. And then to the front. And then to the left. And then to the back. And then bring that hand back down. From here, moving into our shoulders. So we're going to take 3 shoulder rolls backwards. And 3 shoulder rolls forwards. Then we're going to take 3 elbow rolls backwards. And 3 elbow rolls forwards. Then from here, we're going to interlace those fingers, bring your arms above your head. Check in with that rib to hip connection, make sure those ribs haven't jutted forward. And then we're going to start with a circle. So you're just mobilizing through that upper body. Just a circle coming through your shoulders at the moment, so everything else stays nice and still. This is a really great exercise if you've been doing a lot of typing or a lot of gardening, those kind of things where you've been using that upper body quite a lot, but kind of maybe in the same kind of position. This is just going to loosen up through that upper body. Then taking it in the other direction. And then from here we're going to start to let our back and core get involved. So we're making a bigger circle. Everything from your waist down is staying still, so pelvis is staying still. Just come back to your weight. So where is the weight in your feet? Think about that weight staying even between your heel and toe. Don't let that weight move forward and back as your body moves forward and back. And then taking it in the other direction. Keeping that weight even, core engaged. And 2. And 1. And then coming back to the top, stretching those arms up and away. Okay, give those shoulders a little wiggle if they need it. From here, core switched on, you're going to bring your arms out and imagine you're hugging a big tree. Core stays on. We're going to bring those arms out to the side, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then come back to the middle. We're going to go out to the top again. So we're squeezing at the back, back to the middle. A quarter of the way down, so just a little bit lower. Feel that difference in your back, back to the middle. And again, quarter of the way and back to the middle. Halfway down this time. And halfway again. And this time 3/4 of the way. Feeling that change in where that squeeze is in your back. This time we're going all the way to the bottom. Hold it there. Going to bend at the knee, pivot forward at your waist. Now you don't have to take your head down. Keep your head in line with your shoulders and just pivot forward as far as you feel comfortable. Hold it there, push your hands towards the ceiling. Might feel a nice stretch in the back of your leg as well. Hold it there. I'm just going to let your arms hang. And then I'm going to ask you to imagine you're standing on a really nice sandy warm beach, and we're just going to create a circle in the sand. So just letting your arms hang. Don't feel like you're holding them in place. And just creating a gentle circle in the sand. Then taking your circle in the other direction. Really let those arms hang out of your shoulders. And then pushing through your feet back to standing. Excellent. We're going to do that one more time, but this time we'll just go to each place one time. So standing tall, arms come out. So we're stretching out to the top. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Come back to the middle, quarter of the way down. Halfway down. Three-quarters of the way down. And all the way to the bottom. Holding it there, bending your knees, pivoting forward, hold. And just gently let those arms hang, push through your feet back to standing. Okay, from here we are going to start to think about our legs, and we're going to do a little hip action to start with. So what you're going to do, standing tall, weight goes into your left leg. You're going to bring your right foot off the floor. Now if your balance can be a little bit iffy, just have a wall or something close by that's solid that you can hold on to if you need it. And then you're just going to create a circle. So I just want you to imagine you're rolling a marble under your foot. So your foot's staying parallel with the floor. Check you're not locking out your supporting knee. And you're just making a really little circle. And the movement is coming from your hip joint. So your whole leg is creating a circle. And then taking that in the other direction. Keep rolling that marble under your foot. And then you're going to bring that foot back down, have a little rest for a second. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a bigger circle. So now you're going to bend the supporting leg and create a bigger circle, just as big as you can keep your balance, don't overdo it. So core engage, weight back into that left leg. So you're going to bend your left knee, bring your right foot forward, then sweep that right leg all the way around. And then as you bring it back in at the back, you can extend and come back to standing up nice and tall. So we're sweeping forward, round the side, back in to the middle. Core engaged, sweep forward, out to the side and round. Sweep forward, out to the side and round. Doing really well, core engaged. Thinking about your knee on your supporting leg. I want you to make sure that knee is tracking your toe every time. So that was a bad example. Let me do it again. Everyone loses their balance from time to time. It's just part of it. You just have to get over it and move on to the next one. So knee tracks your toe, just like that. So keeping the movement nice and slow and controlled. If you try and go too fast, A, you'll probably lose your balance, and B, you won't be aware of what your knee is doing, because you'll be probably aware of more of what that opposite leg is doing as it swings your body around. Core engage, we're going to do 2 more on this side. Okay, then coming back to standing, give those legs a little wiggle if they need it, and we're going to move to our other leg. So core on, standing, square, then move your weight to the right side, left foot comes off the floor, starting with our little circle. So you're just rolling a marble under your foot, movements coming from that hip, so we're just working gently into that hip joint. And then taking it in the other direction. Two, and final one. Just losing my balance at the final second. Just give yourself a moment to reset, and then we're going to do our big circle again. So remember, if you need it, have something there that you can just maybe just gently have your hand on. Try not to lean on something. Try and have it there as just a little guide if you need it. Core engage, remember, nice and slow. Going to move your weight into the right leg. Left leg comes forward. Bend at the knee. Take that leg round and then stand back up as you bring that leg back in. So you don't have to bend down really low. Take it to where you can and you feel able to hold your balance. This is really good for building strength in your legs. So we're working into that supporting leg, and we're just really learning to open up and mobilize through that hip joint on the leg that's doing a bit more moving. Coming to that knee, make sure that knee is tracking your toe. It's not wobbling too much to the side. Remember, you might lose your balance a little bit. You can use your arms if you want to help you. Don't worry if you lose your balance, just take that one out and come and join us on the next one. 3 to go, you're doing really well. And 2. And final 1. And then bringing yourself to standing. Little stretch and wiggle for those legs. Going to do a standing quad stretch now. Now I suggest you hold on to something solid, but if you don't want to, you can just do it balancing. I just think you can then focus on the stretch instead of focusing on the balance, which is kind of the more important way round. So what we're going to do, hold on to something with your right hand, left foot comes up so it's in line with your bum, and then you're just taking your knee backwards so you can feel that stretch in the front of your leg, so in your quads. Hold it there. And bringing that leg down, swapping to our other side, so right foot up, knees in line, gently take that knee back. Try not to lean your body forward, you'll take the stretch out. So think about being nice and tall. And gently bringing that leg down, give those ankles a little walk out. And we're going to move into a lunge. So a bit like the exercise we just did, a lunge is going to work your legs a little bit individually, which is really good for looking for any muscle imbalance. And it's going to tell you which side of your body is stronger, and then you can work on the weaker side. So coming to standing, you need a little bit of room in front of you to step forward, and nothing or very little behind you. So just a little bit of room behind you for when we step back, just in case there's something there, make sure there's nothing you're going to accidentally trip over. Core engaged, eyes to the horizon. Going to take a big step forward with that right leg. Now you can pick how low you go and how hard you work here. So if you want to, you can bring yourself down quite low, or you can keep yourself at a more comfortable lunge position. Pick where you want to be. Then you're going to bring your arms up in front. Core engaged, we're taking an inhale. Exhale. Going to stretch that arm, look to where your fingers are going, really reach out through those hands, inhale. Exhale. Bring that arm back to the middle, other side. Going to do that one more time to each side. Okay, from here we're going to take our lunge into a flamingo. So core engaged, you're going to bring your arms by your side, and then you're going to step forward onto the right leg. Bring your left leg up so it's bent, arms come up as well. Hold, and then exhale. Gently move yourself back into your lunge. So this is where it's important. There's nothing behind you you're going to step on. Hold for an inhale. Exhale. So keeping the movement nice and slow and controlled for now. I also want you to just work on the alignment of your legs. So every time you put a leg back on the floor, check where it is. Make sure that it's in line. We're going to do 2 more here. Final one. Okay, from here coming into our calf stretch, so pushing your back heel into the floor, feeling that stretch in the bottom half of your legs, standing tall, holding for 30 seconds. Then pushing with that front leg, bring yourself back to standing. We're going to move on to the other side. So feet are underneath you, core on, standing tall. Big step forward, left leg this time. Remember, pick where you want to be in your lunge, so take yourself to where you feel you can hold it. Arms come up, core on, inhale. Exhale. Think about that pelvic floor zipping up a bit higher as you exhale. Really reach out through those fingers. Final time to each side. Okay, into our flamingo. So, holding your lunge. Exhale. Step forward onto that leg, keeping your balance. This is another one where you may lose your balance at times. Don't worry, it's part of learning. Just come back into it. Find that nice position where you can put your feet down and feel balanced and kind of grounded. Thinking about that alignment of your legs, that's going to help with your balance as well. If you take your foot so that it's really behind the other foot, you kind of make yourself almost like you're on a mono ski and it's going to be a bit more wobbly. Think about that foot staying in line with your hip. 3 more to go. Keep that core and pelvic floor active. We have 1 more to go. Okay, from here, pushing that back heel into the floor, taking that stretch through your calf. then pushing with that front leg, bring yourself back to standing. Give those legs a little wiggle. Okay, next we are going to use our roll down to get to the mat. So we're just going to do one roll down to come down to the mat. So, feet are back underneath you, standing tall, taking an inhale. Exhale, tucking that chin. Leading with the crown of your head, you're gently rolling yourself down towards the mat. Check in with your knees, make sure that they are soft and that your arms are just hanging and doing their own thing. Don't feel like you're holding them in place. When you get to the bottom, you're going to bend your knees and bring yourself down to the floor. Going to do a little set of, or two sets actually, of press ups. So you can pick whether you do a 3/4 press up or a full press up. I'm going to show you both. So you're coming into your 3/4 press up. Your pelvis comes forward of your knees. So make sure your pelvis doesn't stay over your knees. You'll find then if it is, you can do quite a lot of press ups. You need to bring your weight onto your hands so you get the best result from your press ups. Core engaged, you can bring your feet off the floor if you want to. Head goes forward, elbows go backwards, and we're going to do 6 press ups here. Or you can do your full press up. So into your full press up, keeping yourself in a nice line, and 6 press ups here. So we're going to do a final 3 press ups. 2 and 1. And then just having a little wrist break. Bring those fingers together, push those fingers out and then bring them back in again. I call this my jellyfish stretch. And then we're going to do another set. So you can pick whether you do a 3/4 or a full press up, and we're going to do another 6. Here we go. So feet on the floor, knees off the floor. If you're doing a full press up, here we go for 6. So keep your core on, keep yourself in a nice line. 2 and 1, and then gently bring those knees back down. Excellent. So next we're going to go into our swan dive. We're going to add in a couple of arm variations today, so I will show you those once we're down on the mat. So you're coming down onto the mat, arms into your swan dive position, so elbow in front of your shoulder. Toes are turned in, so those glutes are off. So this is a really upper back exercise, not a kind of posterior chain, everything helping you out exercise. So we're focusing on that upper back. Eye line is down at the floor in front of you. You might need a little cushion under your forehead if you've got a massive nose like mine that squishes into the floor. Then from here, we're taking an inhale, core engaged. Exhale. Head, neck and shoulders come off the floor, holding for an inhale. And then exhale, gently back down to the mat. So inhaling at the bottom, core engaged. Exhale. Coming up. Now when you're at the top, remember the work is coming from that upper back. There should be no discomfort in that lower back at all. Your head is staying, so your neck is in a nice straight line. Holding for your inhale. And then exhale. Gently back to the mat. Okay, we're going to do another 3 here. Thinking belly button to spine, core engaged. Okay, final one here. Okay, so now we're going to add in an arm lift, and it's up to you whether you want to add in the arm lift or whether you're going to just leave your arms on the floor and do what we've just done. So you're inhaling at the bottom, exhaling, head, neck and shoulders come up. Inhale, one arm comes forward and out. Exhale, other arm comes forward and out. Inhale, hold, and then exhale, releasing back off. Hold at the bottom, inhale. Exhale, lift. Inhale, one arm. Exhale, other arm. Inhale, hold, eye line stays down at the floor. Exhale, back to the mat. We're going to do 2 more like this. Okay, final one here. Okay, then from here we're going to do a really nice chest stretch. So you're going to leave your left arm where it is. You're going to take your right hand next to your right shoulder, look towards the right. Bring your feet up off the floor, and then you're going to take your feet over to the left hand side of your body. Apply a little bit of pressure through that right hand if you need to, and just take that stretch through the left hand side of your chest, holding it there. Then coming back to the middle, taking your right arm into your swan dive position, left hand next to your left shoulder, looking to the left, feet in the air, feet to the right hand side of your body. Again, apply a little bit of pressure through that left hand if you need to, stretching through the right hand side. And coming back to the centre, feet back to the floor, hands under your shoulders, push your weight back, and you're going to come into your wide-kneed child's pose. So knees out wide, sit down into the middle. You're just going to take a couple of breaths here, keeping your neck nice and long. So make sure you haven't taken your forehead to the mat, kind of cricked your neck forward. Then you're going to walk your hands around to the left hand side. Take that stretch to the right hand side of your back. Then from here, walking your hands back to the middle, and then walking your hands around to the right hand side, taking that stretch to the left hand side of your back. And coming back to the middle, and from here we're going to come onto our side, and we're going to do one of my favourite exercises, which is noughts and crosses. Now this is quite hard, so I'm going to say, I'm going to do up to 6 of each, but if 6 is too many, reduce it down, do what you feel comfortable with today, whether that's 2, 3, 5, 4, whatever it is, doesn't matter, just try, and then next time you do it, see if you can just add on an extra one. So we're coming on to our left hand side first. So you're coming down onto your left hand side. First thing we need to think about is our setup. So a bit like we set up our posture when we were standing, we're now going to do that on our side. So feet need to be just in front of you. Chin stays lifted, so try and avoid looking down at your feet because you're just cricking your neck. Top hand in front for some support. Try not to roll your weight forward. Try and keep that hand on the floor to support you, but not kind of pushing into it. So you're using your core to keep you stabilized. You can bend that bottom leg if you need to. Then you're going to bring that top leg up to hip height. If you want to, you can keep your hand off the floor if you feel like you've got enough stability in your core to keep everything nice and stable. And then we're going to do up to 6 circles backwards. So this is our noughts. 4, 5, and 6. And then taking it in the other direction. So keeping your hips really still. Core is working hard here to keep you balanced on the thinnest side of your body. 2, 1. Okay, holding at hip height into our crosses. So core switched on, hand on the floor if you need some extra stability. We're going to come down to the front, not touching the floor though. Back to hip height, up to the back. Careful what happens to your upper body, so you can feel like you want to lean backwards. I want you to think about that rib to hip connection, stop that from happening. Come back to hip height, up to the front, back to hip height, down to the back, back to hip height. So we have 6 to go, or up to 6. Remember, you can reduce the number if you need to. Do what feels comfortable. So this is a really good exercise for your glutes. We're working them in different directions, so not just forward and back. We're going a bit to the side as well. So it's going to really work those muscles hard. You might feel it in a couple of days. Don't worry about that. It's perfectly normal. So we're halfway there. Nice gentle movement. So try not to be jerky. Try and flow from place to place. Keeping that core switched on to really keep you stable. And we have 2 more to go for those that are doing 6. And final time, core engaged. Only making your cross as big as you can, keep everything nice and still. Then gently bringing that leg down, give it a karate chop if it needs it. And then we're going to go on to the other side, because we're going to do a really nice glute stretch. So it'd be good if we'd done both sides before we do our stretch. So you're coming down now onto your right hand side. Again, thinking about your setup. Feet are in front of you, chin lifted, top hand down in front of you, core switched on. Up to 6 noughts in each direction, and then up to 6 crosses. So you're lifting that leg to hip height, and then we're doing a backward circle first. So the bottom of your circle is always hip height, so you're not bringing that leg any lower. 2 and 1, and then taking it in the other direction, core switched on. So only make your circle as big as you can keep everything else still. Remember, you can bend that bottom leg a bit if you need more support. 3, 2, 1. Holding it hip height, core switched on. We're coming down to the front, back to hip height, up to the back. Check in with that rib to hip connection. Back to hip height, up to the front, back to hip height, down to the back again, rib to hip, back to hip height, up to 6 to go. Here we go. So keeping everything nice and still. Remember, keep your chin lifted. Try not to look down at your feet. Doing really, really well. We are halfway there. Keep the movement nice and fluid. So try not to be jerky, and try and keep it steady as well. So try not to rush the movement. You'll find it harder to engage your core and use your core muscles optimally if you're really rushing through the move. And we have 1 more to go. And and then gently bring that leg down, give it a karate chop if it needs it. And then we're going to come into a really delicious glute stretch. So we are coming into a box to start. You need some room behind you because we're going to move our legs from side to side. So you're coming into your box, you're going to take your left leg out behind you and then gently slide it to the right hand side of your body and then just navigate your way backwards. So you're sitting down on top of that right glute and you can feel that stretch in that right hand side, holding it there for me. And then from here, pushing your toes into the floor, bringing yourself back up, and we're going to go in the other direction. So taking that leg out behind you, right leg slides over to the left hand side of your body, navigating your way backwards again, feeling that stretch in your glute, holding it there. Tucking your toes under, pushing yourself here. We're coming onto our backs, and we're going to come into another exercise that is really good for your spine and for your legs. So we're going to do our shoulder bridge, which is another one of my favourite exercises, but two of my favourites next to each other today. So thinking about your setup first, knees, feet and hips need to be hip distance apart. So you've got a good grounding, a good solid base on the floor. From here, at the moment, your pelvis is in neutral. So your pubic bone and your hip bones are in a line. So they're making a nice straight or flat surface. There's no anterior or posterior tilt to that pelvis. This will get under that low back. Eyes to the sky. So make sure you're not either having such a big cushion under your head that your head is tilted in, or you're not looking backwards. Think about having your neck in its natural and neutral position, a bit like you were standing. Arms to the floor. We're going to take an inhale here. Remember, wide thoracic breathing from the bottom of that rib cage. And then exhale, tilting your pelvis, thinking about your tailbone leading the way. You're going to gently roll up into your bridge. So when you get to the top of your bridge, your weight is in your shoulders and you're making like a ski slope shape, holding it here for an inhale, and then exhale, gently bringing yourself back down to the mat. So you're starting with the vertebrae in the top of your back, coming into the thoracic ones in the middle, and then into the big lumbar ones in the bottom, individually placing them on the floor. And then finally that tailbone is going to roll back to the mat. So this is a really good exercise for stretching out through your quads and building strength in your hamstrings and glutes as well. So a bit like our noughts and crosses. So we're going to do another just plain bridge, inhaling at the bottom. Exhale. Remember, zip up that pelvic floor as you exhale and bring yourself off the mat. Weight is in your shoulders, holding at the top. Take another inhale and exhale. Gently, with control, bringing yourself back to the floor. So keeping your pelvis up for as long as you can. And then rolling back into your neutral. Okay, from here we're going to add in an arm lift. So if you have any shoulder injuries, this one might not quite be right for you, so maybe don't add in the arm, but have a little look, and if you think it's all right, then go for it. If any discomfort, just take out the arms and just continue with what we've been doing. So we're inhaling at the bottom, exhale, rolling gently up into that bridge, holding at the top. Glutes are on, hamstrings are on, holding everything in place. Inhale, arms come over your head. So again, just check whether that's okay for your shoulders. If it's not, then don't add it in. Then exhale, gently rolling down, keeping your arms above your head. So this is a really nice stretch for your back. But it is a bit of a Marmite move. So if you don't like it, just take the arms out. That's absolutely fine. Rolling into your neutral, bring your arms back down. We're going to do one more of those. So nice, slow, controlled roll back to the floor, placing those vertebrae down individually. Rolling into your neutral, bring those arms back. Okay, our final two bridges, we're going to add in some extra work for those hamstrings and glutes. So we're inhaling at the bottom. Exhale, rolling back up into your bridge, holding your bridge, focusing on your hips now. So your hips are lifted, you're in your nice ski slope position. And then from here, you're going to push higher for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And now you're going to take your knees out to the side for 5. So this is working into the side of those glutes. 4, 3, 2, core engaged. 1. Hold. Exhale. Back to the mat. Keeping that pelvis up for as long as you can. And then rolling gently into your neutral. Holding here for an inhale. Exhale. So this is our final one with pulses. Up into your bridge, holding it here. Remember, keep those hips at hip height, in line with your bridge position, and then you're going higher for 5. So try not to drop lower and then pulse back up into bridge. 3, 2, 1. Hold, push out with your knees. So great exercise for the side of your glutes. 3, 2, 1. Holding it here for an inhale. Exhale. Gently back to the mat, keeping that pelvis lifted for as long as you can. Rolling back into your neutral position. And then from here we're going to do a nice exercise for the side of that leg. So left foot is staying flat on the floor, your right foot is coming up and over your left leg. Check your ankle bone is not on your thigh, that's really uncomfy. Then you're either pushing your right knee with your right hand, or you can interlace your fingers behind your left leg and push your right knee with your right elbow, breathing into your stretches, holding it there. Holding there a little bit longer. Then coming gently back to the mat. I'm going to go in the other direction, so right foot stays flat this time. Left leg comes up, either pushing your left knee with your left elbow, careful your ankle isn't on your thigh, or interlacing your fingers behind that right leg, pushing your right elbow into your left elbow into your left knee, holding it there. Holding there a little bit longer. And bringing both feet back to flat on the floor, stretching those legs out, giving yourself a full body stretch. And then from here, you're going to bring your feet back to flat on the floor. Core engaged, make sure your pelvis and spine are still both in neutral. Going to bring your arms up into the air, palms are facing. Going to take an inhale in the middle, then exhale. Your opposite arm and leg are just going to gently move out to the side, just as far as you can without that opposite leg moving out to compensate, or your hip rolling off the floor. Holding it there for an inhale, really use your core. Then exhale, bringing them back to the center. Hold here for an inhale. Exhale. Take the other side out, hold for an inhale. So we're slowly moving that arm and leg to the side, using your core to stabilize. If you want to make it harder, bring both feet off the floor. Knees stay over your hips, shins parallel with the ceiling. Same thing. Inhale. Exhale. Gently to the side. Really focus on keeping that other leg nice and still. Hold. Exhale. Back to the center. Hold for an inhale. Exhale. Other side. Hold. Exhale. Back to the center. Going to do 2 more to each side here. So really using the breath to control the speed of the movement. It's also making sure you don't hold your breath, which is no good. Final time to each side. And then you're going to bring one leg down, 2 legs down, and give yourself another full body stretch. And then gently rolling yourself back up to sitting. And we're going to do a couple of nice stretches to finish. So you're coming to sitting, you're going to bring your feet out so they're just wider than hip distance apart. Going to bring your left palm under your left knee, move your right shoulder away, and then bring your right arm up and over so your fingertips are pointing at your left toes. Keep your sit bones on the floor, hold. And then gently bring that arm back up. Going to go to the other side. So right palm under your right knee, left shoulder moves away, left arm comes up and over. And gently bringing that arm back up, turning to the other side again. So left palm, left knee, right shoulder away, right arm up and over. to the other side, so right palm under that right knee, left shoulder away, left arm up and over. Bringing that arm back up. From here we're going to go into our high hip flexor stretch. Now if your knees don't like being knelt on, just use a little cushion underneath your knee. So you're going to pop a little cushion under your left knee, take a big step forward with that right foot, tuck your pelvis under, push your hips forward, knee tracks your toe but never goes over your toe, holding it there. Then coming back to both knees, moving that cushion over if you are using one. Left foot comes forward, again tuck that pelvis under, slide those sit bones down, move your hips forward, keep your chest lifted, knee stays behind your toe. And coming back to both knees, tucking those toes under, hands to the floor, pushing your weight backwards into your heels, taking that stretch through your calf, potentially into your hamstrings as well. Hold it. Then soften at the knees, walk your hands in, extend through the knee, inhale, exhale, gently back up to standing. And then we're going to finish with a couple of belly breaths. So as we inhale, diaphragm moves down, pelvic floor can come off and your belly expands as your diaphragm moves down into kind of your abdominal cavity. As you exhale, they can both come up, so pelvic floor and diaphragm moving together. So hands on your belly, or you can keep them by your side if you want to. You're going to take a nice inhale and then exhale. Inhale and exhale. Two more. Inhale and exhale. And final time. Inhale and exhale. And then we're going to leave it there for today. Thank you for joining me for my head to toe session. I hope you feel like you worked really hard. Well done. Drink plenty of water and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.